Thank you everyone for joining. If you are here for the Leadership Initiative, can I please have you send a message in the Q&A session with your first and last name, followed by your Sac State email, and also your student ID number, please. And then as well as everyone else, thank you for joining us here this afternoon. My name is Tyler Gardner. I work within our ASI government office as the elections officer, where I help just conduct general logistics, and I'll be our moderator for today's candidate forum event. For today, we will be doing our timing hosted through our executive and board associate, Lisa Dalton. Overall, each person will have 1 minute to speak for an opening statement, followed by 1 minute for a general question, which will then be followed by a positional question for each candidate, where they then will have 1.5 minutes to have a closing statement. And then we will take questions from the audience. For any questions coming from the audience, can I please have you hold off until we get to that segment within our timing? And then within those questions, they're going to be put within our Q&A chat as well. In terms of our candidates for today's event, for our Vice President of Finance, we have Leah Tervasa, we have EJ Sheen, Vasily Durbinsky, Sachi Bharia, Garima Sharma, and then for Vice President of University Affairs, we have Alec Tong, Colton C. Carvalho, Alexandra Estrella, and Sidra Nawaz. And then for our Vice President of Academic Affairs, we have Bertha Castellanos, Leslie Shoate, and Himandeep Kaur Cologne. So within today's event, as each question is being presented, each candidate will basically have 1 minute to respond, and our executive and board associate, Lisa Dalton, will be doing keeping track of our timing. Once you are done, once you're coming down with your timing, you should be doing a 10-second countdown, where I'll then basically interrupt you if your timing does come to a conclusion, where I would basically be stating, I'm sorry, but the speaker's time has elapsed. And as you can probably see, we don't have all of our candidates here. I will let you know, however, that this is an optional event and no candidate is required to. With that being said, we'll start going on over and doing our questions, our opening statements, and we'll start off with our Vice President of Finance from Vasily Durbinsky.
Good afternoon, my fellow Hornets. My name is Vasily Durbinsky, and I am a candidate for your Vice President of Finance, and I'm honored to be here this afternoon to share with you my vision for our campus. As a current student and Vice Chair of the ASI Finance and Budget Committee, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that we face as the Hornet community. I am passionate about working to improve the lives of my fellow students, and I believe that my experience and leadership skills make me an ideal candidate for student government. As someone who is an engineering and math tutor, sits on the ASI Green Team, and cares deeply about your physical and mental well-being, I'm confident that I have what it takes to lead our campus forward. If elected as your Vice President of Finance, I will focus on creating a safer campus environment, providing and promoting the necessary academic resources to ensure you and future students are out and for or through and to, and making sure our campus is environmentally responsible. But let me be clear, I'm not here to just talk about policies and plans. I'm here because I believe in the Hornet community. I believe that we are stronger when we come together, and I'm committed to working for each.
I'm sorry, but the speaker's time has elapsed. Thank you, the facility. We're now transitioning over to Sachi to give her opening statement.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sachi Bharia, and I'm a junior double majoring in Management Information Systems and Business Analytics in the College of Business. And I am running for your next Vice President of Finance. I am an international student from India, and being an international student entails more than just academic success, because we need to get ourselves familiar with the local culture from here. And this is what truly inspired me to join Associated Students Incorporation, ASI, at Sacramento State. And I joined ASI through getting involved in Finance and Budget Committee back in 2021. And then I ran for the Director of Undeclared Students last year. My platform is to continue my work to promote the basic need resources to all the students, to ensure the proper allocation of ASI, and also to make the reimbursement process as easier and efficient as possible to all the student clubs registered with SOUL at Sacramento State. And I'm also serving in ASI Finance and Budget Committee, Friends of the Library Committee, and also chairing the Union.
I'm sorry, but the speaker's time has elapsed.
I'm sorry. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on over, we have Goin Sharma, who unfortunately will not be here today. Transitioning on over, we'll go on over to our Vice President of University Affairs, where we will have we will have Colton C. Carvello to lead us.
All righty. Thank you, Tyler. Opening statement, right? My name is Colton Candido Carvalho, cool, calm, and collected, and very nice to make all of your acquaintances. I have been working in student government for about, a year or so now. I transferred in from Los Rios, where I acted as Director of Communications, which I performed roles as a liaison between the student body and classified Senate to report on issues and matters of pressing urgency, whatever that may have happened to be during any given point in time. At that point in time, it was pressing to get out of the pandemic. I am a computer science major, and well, I'm hoping to continue my role in serving the student body here all the way at Sac State.
Thank you. Moving on over, we'll go to Alexandra Estrella for a 1-minute opening statement, please.
Hello, everyone. I know that I have the experience to be able to accomplish all the goals I have in mind, and I want to make sure that there's student representation in all committees, especially in the Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Awareness Committee. I hope that this committee continues to grow and be more active on campus by making sure that we're working with all campus partners. And I understand that we all come from different backgrounds, but we want to make sure that we are all safe and heard. So that's why I know that if I am elected for VPUA, I will be able to assure that all of these are considered. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we'll now go to Sidra Nawaz.
Hi, y'all. Thank you for being here. My name is Sidra, and I'm a transfer student and English major. I've been the Legislative Affairs Coordinator here at Sac State for 2 years. I chair the Internal Committee Lobby Corps, which analyzes statewide legislation and policies, and I advise the ASI board on how to take a stance on these issues. This semester, I've already written several resolutions addressing issues like financial aid and basic needs. I serve in my role as chair and advisor with integrity and honesty. I believe I'm the right person to serve as VPUA because I have experience recruiting my committee and I empower my members' voices. Know that as a student leader, I'm concerned with making college affordable, equitable, and safe for all students. Everything I do as your VPUA will be in the interest of transparency and effective student advocacy. Ultimately, I encourage you all to vote your vision and vote for the person that you feel will lead with your interest in mind and not their own. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We'll now transition over to our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Roberta
Sorry,
Castellanos.
Tyler, we just had one of the other candidates just join the panel, Leslie Chody, Vice President of Academic Affairs. I just want to make sure that you see her.
Oh, thank you for that. We'll transition over to our same category for Vice President of Academic Affairs, where we will lead with an opening statement of 1 minute, and Bertha Castellanos will lead us within that.
Good afternoon, Hornets. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Berta Castellanos, your runner-up for VP of Academic Affairs. This is my 3rd year attending Sac State. My majors are in Business Administration and Communication. I'm running for VP of Academic Affairs because I believe in a diverse vision and leadership where all stingers of all backgrounds have a voice on as many university committees as possible to bring awareness of the academic issues we are facing today. As a first-generation Latina college student, I know how important it is to pave the way for yourself and your family, and I understand the unique challenges we may face while trying to receive a quality education. My passion is to help people who want to build their path with an education, all while feeling included and accepted on campus. Helping people has always been my greatest intention, and as a student just like you, I want to use my experience to engage with students to help build confidence that they can confide in me to ensure that their voices will be heard in addressing academic issues like mental health, affordable housing for students, including students with children, and access to resources.
The speaker's time has elapsed. Thank you. Transitioning over, we will have Leslie Chode from our Vice President of Academic Affairs to give us a 1-minute opening statement.
Hello, I'm Leslie Chode. My major is Recreation Parks Tourism, and I am running for VP of, I'm sorry, what did you say again, Tyler?
It is going to be the Vice President of Academic Affairs.
Vice President of Academic Affairs. Sorry, apologize. My goal as Vice President of Academic Affairs is to make sure that all students are aware of everything that's going on campus. They are aware of organizations that they can go to, places that are safe spaces, places that they can gain knowledge, that give them help with financial aid, that help them to pay for college. Anything like that will really help out with all of what I am running for and trying to accomplish on my platform.
Thank you for that. And given that we do not have Iman Deepur with us today, we'll then transition on over to our positional question. I'm sorry, for our 1 minute of general questions to each candidate. And so we're going to circle back on over to our Vice President of Finance, where Vasily Derbensky will lead us with this first question. We have 1 minute to respond. The question is going to be, what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now? And how would you address those students' needs? Once again, the question is, what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now? And how would you address those students' needs?
I think the current issue that I'm passionate about is making sure students are out in 4 or through in 2. As an engineering and math tutor, I have had the opportunity to work closely with many students over the years. This experience has helped me develop strong communication and leader skills that allowed me to connect with students from diverse backgrounds. I would work hard to promote the learning resources that we have on campus, whether it be through the PAL program, which ASI initially funded and which I'm a part of, or even something like mental health awareness, from promoting the relaxation station to the events that are on campus. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. We'll then transition on over to Sachi Bharia to give us the same answer. Answer to the question. And what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now? And how would you address those student needs?
Thank you, Tyler, for the question. I strongly believe that students from Sac State, especially, they don't know yet what is ASI, and that's my goal, that let them know like what is ASI first, because students know that ASI is here, or maybe some resources are here, but they don't know where to go. So I wanted to make sure that I make like a bridge between the resources and to the students. Like so many clubs, student clubs don't know they have received the DOC funding. They just need to sign the club agreement form with the soul. So I just wanted to make like a really transparent form and something that can accessible for each students in terms of financial, or it could be anything getting involved. Because as an international student, I strongly believe that community involvement really helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Trent, we will now hear from our Vice President of University Affairs for a general question and answer. And we'll start off with Colton. The question is going to be, what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now? And how would you address those student needs?
The current issues I believe that are affecting students right now are, I would say, doubly. One is finances, and the other one is figuring out what major that they should actually be in. And what I mean by that is quite a few people had started at Sac State during the pandemic, and quite a few people that I've encountered, I've even helped them change majors to what they want to do because they didn't realize that what they wanted to do was not in fact what they originally enrolled in. They were just told to do it, or they found it fairly easy in an online format, but once it came to being back in person, they had quite a few issues with it. So how I would address that is, I suppose, talking more with the student populace and getting, I suppose, their views or their takes as to what they want to do, each and every person individually.
Thank you. We would now go to Alexandra to answer the same question of what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now, and how would you address those student needs? You have 1 minute to answer.
Yeah, I think that as of last year and this year, we've gotten the sense of unsafety. people and students feel unsafe on campus because of everything that's going on. And I think that there has to be that sense of transparency from administration and staff to let students know what they are currently doing to make sure that we feel safe. And on top of that, getting that sense of belonging. So there's a lot of students who just commute to school and then leave. We want to make sure that these students stay on campus and get involved as much as possible, because that'll also give them a better sense, a better environment to be in. And aside from that, being able to be more involved on campus will allow them to learn about the information that there already is on campus to help them and just support them in any way that is possible.
Thank you. We'll go on over to Sidra, where the question will be, what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now, and how would you address their student needs?
Thank you. So I think right now there's two issues that are very important. One, mental health, and two, campus safety and the sexual assaults on campus. So to address mental health, I think it's important that we talk about the fact that we need culturally competent and diverse counselors. We need people who are able to meet the needs of students, which means not having incredibly long wait times, which means, actively recruiting more counselors who are capable of the role and being that liaison for students. And second, when we talk about sexual assaults and campus safety, I think it's twofold. There is the safety side, but there is also the response side of things. And 2/3 of sexual assaults are committed by people you know. So I think, yes, we should talk about safety and how we can improve campus at night to make sure students feel safe, but also having transparency and making students feel like they are empowered enough to come forward, talk about issues, know what resources are on campus. And I think a lot of that has to do with outreach and making students feel involved and heard and aware of what's going on campus and what we are doing to address these issues. Thank you.
Randy. We will now hear from our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Roberta will lead us. And the question is going to still be the same of what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now, and how do you plan on to address these students' needs?
Mental health and campus safety, those are really important ones. But one important issue I don't see talked about a lot is the need for affordable housing, not only for single students, but for students with children. Student parents make up approximately 13% of the student body here at Sac State, and that percentage may have grown by now. I do want to mention that the Children's Center is such a great resource, and I don't know what I would do without it, but there are students who commute who don't have a stable living situation on top of being a parent and a student, and this is a major setback for academic success. I would address these issues by first listening and engaging with the students about their questions and concerns regarding the issues. I would then take into account with our directors and partner with the resources we already have in place to come up with a strategic plan of action to help voice these concerns at our committees and Senate committees. Thank you.
We will now hear from Leslie. The question is going to be, what current issues do you believe are affecting students right now, and how would you address those student needs? You have 1 minute to respond.
I think a huge question, a huge thing that is affecting students right now currently is trans issues. And one of the issues that I would work on if I were a VP of Academic Affairs would be to change all of the bathrooms at Sac State to all gendered bathrooms. There's no need to have male or female bathrooms at Sac State any longer. I believe this is a huge issue, and I think changing it to all gendered bathrooms would not only help out our community, but also realize that they're seen, they're heard, and actually lessen the division that's going on currently.
Thank you for your answer. We will now hear, my apologies. Now that we have heard from our general question and answer, we'll now move on over to our positional question portion. We'll still go back to Vasily to lead us with our Vice President of Finance. And the question is going to be, the Vice President of Finance is responsible for seeing that the budget is prepared through the Financial and Budget Committee. What do you think should be the guiding principles the committee should use to develop the budget? Once again, the Vice President of Finance is responsible for seeing that the budget is prepared through the Finance and Budget Committee. What do you think should be the guiding principles the committee should use to develop the budget?
Thank you for the question. I believe that the guiding principles for developing the budget should include transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. We must ensure that our budget reflects the values and priorities of our community and that we allocate resources in a way that benefits all students. This includes prioritizing student services, academic resources, and support programs that help students succeed. We must also be proactive in identifying areas of potential cost saving and revenue generation, and we must ensure that we are being fiscally responsible with the resources that has been entrusted to us. Finally, we must be transparent in our budgeting process, ensuring that all stakeholders have the opportunity to provide input and feedback, and that our budget is accessible and easy to understand for all members of our community.
Thank you. We will now hear from Sachi, where the question will still remain the same. And it is the Vice President of Finance is responsible for seeing that the budget is prepared through the Finance and Budget Committee. What do you think should be the guiding principles the committee should use to develop the budget? And you have 1 minute to respond.
I will focus on adding two guiding principles that the Finance and Budget Committee should use to develop the budget. First would be very student-oriented decision-making, which means that the committee should prioritize decisions that are the best interest of the student body. By putting students first in the decision-making process, the committee can ensure that the budget reflects the values and priorities of the student body. Second would be by maximizing funding that directly benefits students. In this way, the committee can also ensure that every dollar is spent being used to improve the student experience overall. Since these are the student funds and they have a right to know how their money is being spent. So these are the principles that ensure that committee is focusing on the needs and priorities of the student body. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear from our Vice President of University Affairs. Will Colton will lead us with our positional question of the Vice President of University Affairs is responsible for recruiting students to serve on the university-wide committees as part of ASI's role in shared governance. Why is shared governance important to students, and give an example of the positive impact it has had at Sacramento State specifically?
I would say the importance of shared governance at California State University, Sacramento, is that it allows all of the people's voices to be heard, the student body's voices to be heard by the people who are up in the higher position, the elevated positions, college of directors, anyone really who's staff on the campus. And the positive impact that it's had on campus, you know, I haven't been here long enough to truly say. I can say, though, from the universities and colleges I have been to, Sac State is one of the most positive ones I've been to which people feel very, very free and open to speak their minds and speak their minds clearly. So I would say that's the positive impact I've observed so far. But as for specifically impacted by shared governance from the students, I can't say at this point in time. I have not been here long enough to observe that.
I appreciate your answer. We will now hear from Alexandra, where the question remains the same. The Vice President of University Affairs is responsible for recruiting students to serve on the university-wide committees as part of ASI's role in shared governance. Why is shared governance important to students? And please give an example of the positive impact it has had here at Sacramento State.
Yeah, so I think that it's really important for there to be representation, especially if it's going to affect us students directly. As we've seen, most committees this year have been full, which means that we have had more students give their opinion about what they think and share with administration as to what they think that is wrong and what should change. So this has helped our campus be more inclusive as well as more diverse, allowing staff and administration to be able to make well-informed decisions that will affect us directly. And aside from that, we can see how more students are getting more involved through committees to share their opinions or their experiences with professors through joining committees that specifically have to do with academics.
Thank you. We will now transition on over to Sidra Nawaz, where the question is going to be: the Vice President of University Affairs is responsible for recruiting students to serve on the university-wide committees as part of ASI's role in shared governance. Why is shared governance important to students? And please provide an example of the positive impact it has had here at Sacramento State.
Thank you. So I think shared governance is important because our committees discuss and make decisions on a variety of really critical issues that affect students, whether they're university or internal committees. And especially on university committees, students need to have a voice. And if students aren't sitting on those committees, they might end up making a decision at a meeting without ever taking into account student input. And personally, in my committee, Lobby Corps, I've seen amazing work happen and students really blossom over their time in the committee and eventually go on to do amazing things and advocate at the Capitol. And this year alone, I saw so many of my members go to this California Higher Education Student Summit, and they were part of those meetings at legislators' offices. And they had so much to say and so much input, partly because of our training, but partly in because they had personal experiences that informed their decisions, informed the advocacy work that we were doing. And that was the best part of it.
Thank you. We will now be hearing from our Vice President of Academic Affairs, where Bertha will lead us into our positional question. And the question is going to be: what are the most important academic issues on campus and how would you address them? Once again, the question is: what are the most important academic issues on campus and how would you address them? You have 1 minute to respond.
So I'll be talking about the mental health and affordable housing with students with children. So I know that COVID happened about 3 years ago, and mental health is still big right now. And there can be many different types and kinds of variables that can play a role in mental health, but this is certainly still affecting us as students. The Walk of Darkness event that took place on April 6th brought light to suicide prevention, but we still need more of these events so that students can continue to be reminded that they're not alone. And then the other issue would be the basic needs for affordable housing with students with children. I know I talked about this before, but approximately there's 13% of the student body here at Sac State that are students with children, and there's a lot of barriers here. It's not, with stable living situations and commuting, some commute. So I would address these issues by listening and engaging with the students about these concerns at the faculty meetings.
Thank you. I appreciate your answer. We will now be hearing from Leslie Choate. And the question is: what are the most important academic issues on campus and how would you address them? Once again, the question is: what are the most important academic issues here on campus and how would you address them?
Thank you, Tyler. I believe that the most important academic issues are, again, I agree with Bertha about mental health issues. I think that teachers should be more prepared for students that need a mental health break, or be comfortable with students coming to them and saying that they need some time, or that they at least need a day or so to collect themselves, and teachers being more flexible with students and working on that, as well as being able to give them access to any affordable care, such as, I think we have something counseling sections, I believe, currently active on the campus that we can refer students to, or things like that that can help them if they're in crisis or they're having any sort of issues that they need to go and speak to somebody on this situation.
Thank you. Given that we have included all of our positional questions and general questions for today's event, we will now give 1.5 minutes for our candidates to provide a closing statement. Once again, this is 1.5 minutes for each candidate, and we will circle back over to our Vice President of Finance, where Vasily will be leading us.
Thank you, Tyler. In closing, I want to thank you, my fellow Hornets, for joining me today and allowing me to share my vision for our campus. It's been an honor to speak with you about the issues that matter most to our community. As I said earlier, I'm running for Vice President of Finance because I believe in the power of hard work, determination, and community. I'm deeply committed to ensuring that every student on our campus has access to the resources they need to succeed both academically and personally. But academic success is only one part of the equation. I believe we must also work to ensure that our campus is safe and sustainable for years to come. That's why I will work to create a safer campus environment and to ensure that we are environmentally responsible in all of our practices. But none of this can be accomplished alone. I'm committed to working closely with each and every member of our community to understand your needs, your concerns, and your aspirations. Together, we can create a campus that is welcoming, inclusive, and supportive of all students. So I ask that you vote Vasily for Vice President of Finance, and I ask for your continued support as we work together to create a brighter future for our campus. I believe in the Hornet community, and I believe that together we can achieve great things. Thank you, and remember, Sac State is number one. Seniors up.
Thank you, Vasily. We will now be hearing from Sachi, where you have a minute and a half for a closing statement, please.
Thank you all for taking the time to listen to my platform. As an international student, I understand the importance of community involvement and the impact that it can have on our academic, professional, and personal success. Again, finance is a crucial aspect of students' journey as it can impact our overall experience in many ways. Financial issues can also lead sometimes to stress, anxiety, and even dropout for some students. So it is really important to have a proactive vice president of finance to ensure that ASI funds are allocated in a way that maximizing benefits all the students and allow them to pursue their academic goals without unnecessarily financial burden. And I'm all excited, ready to serve and represent our student body with the right financial oversight to create a more inclusive, supportive, and successful campus community for everyone. That's why I ask for your support to vote on April 12th and 13th, and let's lead with integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachi. We will now be hearing from our closing statements from our University Affairs candidates. We have Colton to lead us.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time, and I hope that I will be able to serve the ASI student body much as I have served other student bodies in the past, and that I will be able to, learn as I go and teach as I go, and help others find the path that they need to go down for college. Thank you for your time. Vote Colton Carvalho for Vice President of University Affairs, and keep it cool, calm, and collected.
Thank you, Colton. We will now be hearing from Alexandra to give a closing statement, please.
I appreciate everyone joining today to learn about all the candidates. Please rest assured that I've become a voice for the voiceless, and my main mission is to help everyone in whatever way that I can by advocating and making sure that there's representation in all committees, but also making sure that the Wellness, Safety, Sexual Assault Awareness Committee is as active as it has been this past year. So make sure to vote Estrella for Vice President of University Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. We will now be hearing from Sidra. Give a minute and a half closing statement, please.
As VPUA, I hope to continue doing what I already do, but on a bigger scale. I will write resolutions on issues that are relevant to Sac State students. I will advocate and encourage students to advocate on these issues, and I'll recruit a diverse body of students for all university and internal committees. I will personally make myself available to any students who want to learn more and need help navigating their role as committee member, because I know getting involved can be daunting at first. I hope to work with colleagues and campus partners to create an informed and engaged student community. I want to create more transparency next year around the VPUA role so students know what I should be doing and what I actually am doing so that they can hold me accountable. Most important to me is the fact that VPUA chairs Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Committee, and I want students to feel safe in an environment led by someone who understands how to sensitively handle these topics and who can empathize with the experience of survivors. I vow to be that person for you. I will amplify underrepresented voices, and I will work tirelessly to make sure your needs are met. I will promote a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I hope that you all will believe that I am the best choice for VPUA, because I will always listen to your voices and create a campus that you envision. I hope that you all vote on Wednesday and Thursday, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for giving us a nice closing statement. We will now be hearing from the Vice President of Academic Affairs, where we'll be hearing from Bertha Castellanos, and then to our audience members for the Q&A session that'll be coming in just a couple minutes. Can I please have you include your first and last name, please, with your question, so that we can get those asked to our candidates, please. But to hear from our next candidate, please, can we have a minute and a half closing statement from Bertha, please?
Well, I would like to thank the ASI election team for setting up this meeting for us. And I hope you find that I come with good intentions to help all stingers of all backgrounds build their path with quality education. My ultimate goal is for all stingers to believe in themselves and be excited about learning, all while feeling cared about as a student and as a person. We, the students, are the university, and our legacies do matter. So please be assured that your voices will be heard if I am elected as your VP of Academic Affairs. So please remember Berta Castellanos when you vote. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now be hearing from Leslie.
Hello, thank you, Tyler, and thank you to all of the panel and anyone else who is out there listening. First of all, I want to say that I am new to running for student government, but I am very excited to learn from my peers and from mentors, and I'm actually very excited to learn from the students as well. As a person who's involved in academic affairs, this is all about the students. We're supposed to learn from them. They are giving us our feedback. They're telling us what they want. They're letting us know what their needs are. And I think that should be most important so we can ensure the vitality and the strength of our college. I think that we have some really, really great sports programs. I also think that people do need to be aware of different issues that are going on around the campus and around the country. I think that learning from our students and having real conversations with them is the most important thing. And as your VP AA for Leslie Choate, I endorse this and I am excited to run for you. And I hope you're excited to learn and grow with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us a nice closing statement, Leslie. We will now be, given that that is all for our candidates for our closing statement, we will now open the segment up, open up to the audience to ask our general Q&A session. So please feel free to add those in the Q&A chat, please, and make sure to include your first and last name. Alrighty, so to ask our first one, we're going to go to our Vice President of Academic Affairs, and this one's going to be posed to all of them. And the question is, what is your position on the use of artificial intelligence, better known as AI, by students for classwork? For example, doing discussion posts with ChatGPT. And to start us off, we will be having Bertha to answer the question, and you have 1 minute to respond.
So I know that AI is something that's new and our professors don't really like it. For discussions, you actually get points deducted for that. So this is, I think, something new to talk about with professors, with the students. It's actually it's a question that's going around right now. So there's not really an answer to it, but it's going around and we're trying to see if this is something good or something bad in your academic success.
Thank you for your answer. We will now hear from Leslie. The question is going to be, what is your position on the use of artificial intelligence by students for classwork, for example, doing discussion posts with ChatGPT?
Leslie, you're muted.
Leslie, you want to unmute your microphone?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I actually agree with Bertha on this. I haven't personally used Chat GPT, but I know that it is. I just don't think that we have enough information on this right now, as far as students and teachers' input. And I think we would need to gather more information on this whole thing before we actually implement some sort of plan. So.
I appreciate your answer. We will now be here. Given that that is all of our candidates attending for our vice president of academic affairs, let's look at our other questions. And unfortunately, Natalie, I won't be able to pose your question to any of our candidates, as no candidate is able to ask another candidate a question, unfortunately. And that goes to you, Veronica, as well. Alrighty, from Robert Gonzalez, this is going to be posed to our candidates from the Vice President of University Affairs. And the question is, what are your thoughts on students' assistants unionizing? Once again, this is for Vice President of University Affairs. And what are your thoughts on student assistants unionizing? And we will start off with Colton providing us a 1-minute response, please.
I would need to talk with a lot more student assistants than I have so far. I have about half a dozen or so colleagues who are student assistants, and I would need to discuss with them specifically on this issue if it is something appealing, if it's not, because it sounds fairly nuanced and I don't know all the details. I can get back to you on that though, if you'd like, if you want to send me your email or something like that, or a contact point. Thank you.
Thank you, Colton. We will now be hearing from Alexandra, where the question will remain the same of what are your thoughts on student assistants unionizing?
So we all know that student assistants are underpaid and deserve to receive benefits, but we also need to make sure that we are inclusive when we think about unionizing, for instance, undocumented students and those who have restrictions on working. We also need to remember that hopefully if unionizing, it doesn't affect a student's financial aid. And as said multiple times before, I support anything that will help students, but I also want to make sure that everyone's included.
Thank you for your response. We will now be hearing from Sidra, where the question will remain the same of what are your thoughts on student assistants unionizing here on campus?
I really agree with what's been said. One, I think it's important to consider the student assistants' voices and hearing everyone's opinions on it to get a healthy conversation going on both sides. I think also unionization, though, in general, promotes accountability and working conditions that are good for employees. And in general, most Americans actually agree with unionization. It's something that most people, if they have a union, a person who is in a union in their household, or they themselves are in a union, they are happy that they are in one. And it is something that is very beneficial to those who need to be in good working conditions and are advocating for themselves to do so. So I would say that it's something that definitely want to have conversations with people who are involved in the conversation and have stakes in it, but I know that it has good benefits. And for students, being that push to unionize has allowed a lot of student positions to become paid positions where they can become student assistants. So it is beneficial in that way.
Thank you. That is all of our candidates for our Vice President of University Affairs. So let's go to our chat to see if we have any other additional questions. Alrighty, so from Stage Beeman to all of our candidates here today, what makes you the best candidate for your position? And you have 1 minute to respond. Once again, the question is what makes you the best candidate for your position? And we're gonna start off with our Vice President of Finance from Vasily, please.
I'm the current vice chair of the Finance and Budget Committee. We've recently put together a budget, which we have presented to the board. That's the finance side of it. As an engineering and math tutor, I've also had the opportunity to work with other students. This experience, again, has allowed me to create, learn, and improve my communication and leadership skills, especially from speaking with students of diverse backgrounds. Along with that, as a member of the ASI Green Team, I've worked successfully collaborating with campus partners to promote a sustainable campus. So I'm overall a well-rounded individual that can do the job for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasily, for your answer. We will now be hearing from Sachi. And the question is, what makes you the best candidate for your position that you're running?
I was waiting for this question. Okay. So during the past year, I have developed and worked on different strategic priorities while serving on the board. And I truly wish to continue it forward. And one of my major accomplishments last year was collaborating with CARES to hold the Basic Need Resource Fair with assuring the community partners, and where we promoted like the basic needs on and off campus community partners. And I believe that from the past 2 years, I have been also serving in a finance and budget committee where we reviewed and gained experience how to allocate the funds properly, how to work with the doc funding, with the student clubs as well. So I believe that I have an experience, dedication, and passion to serve as the Vice President of Finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachi. We will now be hearing from the Vice President of University Affairs candidates, and we will start off with Colton, please.
I would say the thing that makes me the best candidate for this position is that I've had experience working with students closely, especially during times of high stress during the pandemic, for instance, and working and moving us out of the pandemic, which, granted, the lovely and wonderful people I had worked with are just as big a part of this equation as I was in pushing for us moving back to being on campus at the Los Rios district. And the other thing that makes me a very strong candidate for this position is I can spend about 18 hours a day, Monday through Saturday on campus, working towards any given goal. And if this is one of the given goals that I have, then I will be working towards it as long as it takes to get all the committees chaired, get whatever sort of transgressions addressed, anything. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Colton. We will now be hearing from Alexandra for a 1-minute response. And the question is going to be, what makes you the best candidate for your position?
Yes, so I currently serve as BPUA and I've been able to fulfill most of the committees already, which is amazing because it means that there's a lot of student representation in all committees. And I constantly have been tabling to make sure that students know what ASI is and that we're able to get them involved. And the Wellness and Safety and Sexual Assault Committee has been proactive and we've held many events. So I continue to make sure that this is happening. And aside from that, I hold different identities on campus, which has allowed me to help more students and make sure that I know who to talk to and make sure that students are connected to the right people. Aside from this, I have a lot of experience in education and outside of education. So that also helps me understand what my role is and what I can and can't do, as well as making sure that I prioritize certain things.
I appreciate your answer, Alexandra. We will now be hearing from our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Bertha Castellanos, to lead us with the question and answer of what makes
Tyler?
I believe you missed someone.
Sidra?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Sidra. My apologies. The question is going to be, what makes you the best candidate for your position? And you have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you. So I think I'm the best candidate because I have been in ASI for 2 years as Legislative Affairs Coordinator. And so I have a lot of experience. I worked through the pandemic. So I watched ASI grow and students get more involved. And I know that there is definitely a growing involvement and interest in it. We just need to reach students and find them to get involved. I also think I have a unique perspective because I'm not currently on the board. I haven't been on the board. I am an English major. So I have a different perspective because I have a different community. And I know that those students in arts and letters and as English majors, they they want to get involved too. They have issues on campus that they are concerned about as well. But it's just a matter of reaching those students and making them feel empowered enough and informed enough to actually get involved and make a difference.
Thank you for giving us such a beautiful answer, Sidra. We will now be hearing from our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Bertha Castellanos Toledos, with the same question. And it is, what makes you the best candidate for your position? You have 1 minute to respond.
So this would be actually the first time I run for a position like this, but I have over 6 years of business related experience. And within those years, I have found myself representing the underserved, whether that be using my platform to attend women empowerment events, donating to local shelters, attending family food drives. My passion is to help people, and that has always been my greatest intention. So for me, I feel like my greatest, charisma would be to listen, because when you listen, you're actually listening to that need that people need. So that's what I'm going to end it with. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Bertha. We will now be hearing from Leslie. And the question is, what makes you the best candidate for your position?
Thank you, Tyler, and thank you all the panelists. I think that I'm the best person for this position because of my experience with recreation and parks tourism. I'm a person that's very familiar with talking to people, getting to know people, enjoying their likes, their dislikes, what they like to do for fun, what they enjoy, being among the student body and actually doing like physical activities with other members of my student corps. Those are enjoyable, and I also get to know the student body a lot better because of this. I believe that my skills and learning people and getting to know my fellow classmates and being able to have a conversation and also being involved with the Pride Center and caring about community issues are one of my most important goals for this candidacy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie. We will now be hearing from other questions we have in our chat. I encourage you all to ask questions while we still have them. This is going to be the last event. We'll be able to hear from them. So I really encourage you all to ask me dire questions, please. While we wait for those to come in, just to go over a little bit about some upcoming events. As you heard, this week we'll be doing voting for this. We'll be doing voting for ASI student government elections on Wednesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So please encourage everyone to vote, your constituents to vote, please. And everyone present, please vote. It will be done online, and they can vote via their Sac State email or going over to our ASI website. And we will also be hosting a in-person polling site where right on the west side entrance where the ATMs are located on the University Union pathway. So you're welcome to encourage others to come in and vote there. I'll be there. Our executive board associate Lisa Dalton will be there at certain points as well. If you just want to ask us questions or chat a little bit, or even just campaign a little bit about your platform within the 50 feet radius, please. And then also we will be having our kickoff event for our elections. And this one is going to be held in our library quad area from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on April 12th, that Wednesday. So encourage others to attend, and you're welcome to attend as well. And then following the closure of our polling sites and ballot, all in all, we will be having
Something happened to
Did we
Tyler.
lose Tyler?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the internet.
Man, you'd be a freeze tag champion.
So I'll finish it up for us. We do have the elections kickoff that is on Wednesday from 11 to 1 in the library quad. And then all the results from our elections after 2 days of voting on Wednesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. till 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. We'll have the results party in the Global Lounge, which is over at the University Library right off of the Breezeway. We'll do that and have the results. The results will also be posted on our ASI website and on the bulletin boards that are located in the University Union. And don't miss the opportunity to hear our last candidate forum, which will be tomorrow at 12 with our presidential ticket candidates. Those are our candidates who are running for president and an executive vice president. We do have 3 groups of students who will be running, and we hope that you'll join. Our video will be posted on the ASI website for each of our forums where we've had candidates attend within 24 hours after downloading our video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Tyler at ASI-OGEO@csus.edu, or you can reach me at lisa.dalton. I hope you all have a great day, and thank you so much to all of our candidates for joining us today. And don't forget to vote on Wednesday and Thursday. Stingers up. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for your time, Lisa.